Hi. Well, I just wanted to talk to everybody out there about a couple things that came to my mind as we were coming back we just got back from Strictly for the Wicked, that little show in Michigan, and we listened to some music in the car. We came across some issues there. I just wanted to talk to everybody here about one thing that came up, which was the album Erotic Nightmares. Now that came up because that is the album I most recently put out. I'm still kind of promoting that album, and what came to my attention was the fact that I've never really explained Erotic Nightmares. Not like the whole album, but there's a song entitled Erotic Nightmares. The name of the album is Erotic Nightmares. And some of you may be wondering, where the fuck did that come from? Well, I'm going to explain it, because I haven't done any interviews about this album. I have not been approached by any interview people on the internet, from the newspaper, from magazine periodicals and other publications. They have not approached me like, what was going through your head as an artist? And I don't care, because I'm going to tell you, because I think people should know. I think it's an important piece of this history. So, we're going to start off with Erotic Nightmares. Where did that name come from? Well, the name of the album, Erotic Nightmares, was thought of by me because I think with the Erotic Nightmares album, a more like, hey, I'm a sexy girl who can still be wicked approach was being taken, with the songs being laid out in it and whatnot. So I was like, okay, something sexy yet scary. And then, as you may or may not know, you don't know, but the Rocky Horror Picture Show is like one of my most favorite movies ever. It probably is my most favorite movie ever. And there is a song on that. Actually, it's like the Don't Dream It, Be It song towards the end after the floor show, for those of you that are familiar with the film. And there's a line in it where he says, erotic nightmares beyond any measure. It's sampled in the intro of the album, actually. But that's where I thought of the name. I just took that phrase. I'm like, that's kind of a neat way to describe what I'm doing on this album, is that phrase, Erotic Nightmares. Alright, that makes sense. So, what I do, sometimes, at least back then, when I came up with this 2 fucking years ago, was I always want to make sure I'm not stealing lyrics accidentally or stealing ideas. So I'm like, okay, well, I know I am gathering inspiration from that phrase from somewhere else, but I'm going to make it my own and do my own thing with it. And I just want to make sure nobody else has used it in the same way. So what I do, to make sure that I'm not stealing anything is I Google it, of course. How else would you find answers to life? So I Googled Erotic Nightmares, spelled with an S, how it's supposed to be spelled in the English language. And I think some like band somewhere had a song called Erotic Nightmares, whatever. The only other thing I really came across was some Chinese horror film, actually. actually, entitled Erotic Nightmare. No S, no Z. Erotic Nightmare. And I was like, what is this? Some sort of horror film. What? Well, that's kind of fitting. So I had to look into this. And I downloaded the movie, this Chinese movie. And this is where the song Erotic Nightmares comes into play. Because that is what the song is based on. And that is what people don't understand. Because nobody's heard of this movie. I mean, I think it's actually in Chinese. It's subtitled in English. And it's really, it's an odd movie. I watched it. But I was like, oh, I'll gather some inspiration from this little movie and kind of make a song about the premise of the movie. Which was basically this guy is having sexual frustrations with his wife. And he keeps having dreams, like sex dreams. And he wants to, I don't even, it's been a while since I watched it. I watched it like the one time. And I don't remember if the sex dreams were a problem and he wanted it to stop, or he wanted to have better ones. I don't know, but he ends up going to see like this wizard, and he's like, help me, whatever way he wanted to go. And the wizard gave him some kind of potion. Maybe he cast some kind of spell. Like I said, I don't really remember all the details. But basically what happened was he started having these really erotic dreams because he couldn't have sex with his wife. So he's having these erotic dreams where it'd be going all sexy time, and then all of a sudden, like, it would just turn horrible, and there would be these little fucking Asian schoolgirls that are like, hey, let me suck your wiener, like, but then all of a sudden they'd have like gardening shears and be trying to cut off his wiener. I don't know, it was really weird. So I was like, well, that's kind of, something that I'll do. I'll make this song about, somebody, about having a nightmare that you think is actually like this wet dream, and then it all turns bloody and fucking murdery, and haha, it's your nightmare. Nope. But you still might try to get off to it. So that's why, some parts of the song might not make sense. It's like, don't fall asleep, you won't want to wake up. That's because in the movie, he would go to sleep, he would have these super sexy dreams, but then like there would be a bad ending to it, but then he would wake up, and like he woke up and their family pet was like decapitated. That's in the song. After one of the other dreams, his mother-in-law was like fucking brutally dead somehow in their house. So like every time he had one of these dreams, something bad happened in real life. So it's like if he slept and he had these dreams, this spell that was put upon him was gonna make something bad happen in real life. So that's the whole thing behind the don't fall asleep, you won't want to wake up, because it's crossed over from your nightmares to your real life. It's not just a dream, it's not just a nightmare. You brought this on yourself, this is what you get. So yeah, that's kind of what it's based on, and I just wanted to explain that because I think otherwise that song, it's not one of my favorite songs on there or anything, but I think unless you actually know what my thought process was behind that, it's still kind of a catchy song maybe, but it's kind of like, where is this coming from? You won't want to wake up, why not? So that's the story behind Erotic Nightmares, the album and the song. Okay, now part 2 of this Kilo show, the little rants that I wanted to go on, inspired by Strictly for the Wicked events, is I had some issues there. No, okay, so Saturday was Strictly for the Wicked, and I was kind of ready to go. I found an outfit. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then something went terribly wrong. Terribly, terribly wrong. I had a list of all the merchandise, right? There was Kilo Crap Rocks merchandise, and then there was Comatose merchandise. The main thing was the Kilo Crap Rocks merchandise. I had typed it out in a Word document, printed off copies of it. It looked very nice, precise. It was in an order. It was structured and easily readable. Fucking, it looked professional. It was a good list, and it had everything planned out beforehand. So on Saturday, as we're driving to the venue, which was like 40 minutes from our hotel, I realized about 10 minutes into it, I left this fucking list at the hotel. And I'm like, fuck, are you kidding? Now, this should be a minor thing, but if you don't know me and you don't know that I have somewhat of a little OCD problem over little things, like things being centered, straight lines, fucking organization when it's convenient for me. And if these things are not properly worked out in my head, it fucks with my anxiety, which makes me go into fucking like panic mode over nothing. I'm very easily stressed out. So, we realized I don't have this list. I do not have this list. And that is not a good thing to me. That is like a major blow to my good mood. I was a little nervous because I didn't really practice as much as I should have, because it was a set I've done, like past 4 shows I've done pretty much. So I was like, oh, I don't need to. But then at the last minute I was like, nah, I probably should have went over this a few times. So I was a little nervous just because of that fact. Then there's this major blow of not having a list. And the world is going to end. We don't have time to go back and get it. So we go there, we get to the venue, and I have to write out this list in my awful little tagger handwriting on the back of a fucking poster. And it looks like shit. It looks like absolute shit. And I couldn't remember the prices, so I kind of made them up, and I don't think they were even like the same, like the wristband prices or some shit. They were not the same as what was printed on the list. It was chaos. It was just chaos. And it was fucking with my head so bad because I had to write all this, remember it, when I should be, you know, taking these last few moments to familiarize with what songs I was actually going to perform. So yeah, the list was gone, and I had this shitty list in its place. So I'm pretty stressed out about this list, right? And I'm like, oh my god, I need to fucking smoke a cigarette, go listen to my set in the car. Made a CD of it. So I had smoked a cigarette on the way to the venue, and I go back out to the car to smoke a cigarette. Cigarettes are not in the car. Cigarettes are not in my purse. Cigarettes are nowhere to be found. Somebody fucking stole them or something. They were nowhere. There were no cigarettes. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm not like a super stress smoker, but when I want to smoke and I can't smoke, that's a fucking problem. So I'm like, we need to do something about this. We go down to the gas station, wasting more valuable time that I could have been going over this set that I don't know that well. So, we go down to the gas station, get the pack of cigarettes. I listen to the set like a half the time, and the show's starting. And I'm all like, oh man, still worse up about this list, and throw in the pack of cigarettes. And here's where the issue comes in. The real issue here. So here's where another issue arose. I told you I'm all about, you know, this organization before these events and whatnot. So in this very precise list that Satanic had sent to me, in my email that other people had to have seen, sent it to a lot of people. There is a list, very specific set times and orders and instructions. And it was like Kilo Crack Rocks is going on 4th. That's a comfortable number for me. I'm not gonna be drunk by that time and fuck things up. It's not 1st, so I'm not gonna be freaking out about having the 1st spot. That's a very comfortable number. I was with that. So the when it actually came down to it, the first act, which was Shadow the Cannibal, he goes on, does his thing. All of a sudden, Satanic comes up to me and is like, "You ready?" And I'm like, "For what?" And he's like, "Well, you're on next." Hold on. This is not 4th place. This is 2nd place. And I'm like, "No." And I'm like, I'm not next. And he's like, "Oh, well, what? Hold on." It's like, let me go look at this imaginary list that I have, which is not the same as the one I emailed you, apparently. So he runs off to look at this imaginary list that I don't know where it was, but it was not the same list. And he comes back and he's like, "No, you're next." And I'm like, bullshit. And I'm like, no, nope. Not gonna do it. No, that's not how it is. He's fucking with the order more. There was the fucking list. Some fuck stole my cigarettes. And now fucking Andres Satanic is fucking with the order of the sets. And my mind is just fucking blown. I'm like, I don't like to be drunk before shows, but I usually like to catch like a little comfortable buzz off a couple beers or something. I hadn't even done that because I wasn't going 2nd, I was going 4th. But he's like, "Come on, you'll do fine." And I'm like, no, nope. But you know, what am I gonna do? Just not do it? So I'm like, okay, with your imaginary list here. So I went up there, and then I'm really worked up about the list, the cigarettes, the chaos of the order of the sets. And I'm like, this is not right. None of this is right. This is not right in my head. This is not right for the world. Fucking chaos has overtaken everything, and I'm fucking panicking. My world is fucking crumbling, and Satanic is just like, "You'll be fine." No, Satanic, it won't be. So anyways, the point is, for Strictly for the Wicked, I felt like that was kind of a subpar set. I might not have seemed like I was having very much fun. I think that kind of conveys when you're up there performing your own stuff. And it's because I wasn't, because of Andres Satanic. That's why. I guess I can't put all the blame on him. There was also, you know, my own stupidity of forgetting the list, and then the fuck that stole my cigarettes. I don't know who stole them. Maybe Satanic himself. Fucking just to fuck with me. I don't know. But I just wanted to say that, yeah, if you saw that performance and, you know, it doesn't seem like I was that into it or prepared, it was a lot of little stuff that was just going on in my head, and it was also all Satanic's fault. So, you know, thanks for that, and fuck you. I'm just kidding. Thanks for having me out. But no, that's all I really wanted to say about that. Was Satanic fucking ruined my weekend. And yeah, that's why my performance sucked. And then the other thing, my other fucking bone to pick with Satanic. Okay, he fucking has this show. He's like, be there at like 3 p.m. I think we were there at like 3:30. He wasn't there at 3:30, but we were. So we show up all early, and then this shindig lasts until like 2 a.m. That's a long fucking night and day, and that's a lot of time for me to drink things. I was pretty fucking exhausted. And I even paced my drinking. Thanks, satanic. But the whole thing was, you know, the SKR folks had to do their little after party VIP show, whatever thing. So I had to go along with Comatose because that's what I do. We do it. So I go everywhere with him. And he's not allowed to leave my site. So I had to go with, and I had to stay up for that. So then it's like 4 a.m. Here's my question to you, satanic, wonderful fucking host of Strictly for the Wicked. What kind of fucking host are you if you're gonna make people fucking be at this place at 3 p.m. and expect them to stick around until 4 a.m. or later and you don't supply any cocaine? I mean, I'm not a big fan of cocaine. I've fucking only done it 1,000 times or so. But you can't really throw a party like that, of that length, at that hour of the night, and not supply your guests with cocaine if you expect them to stay awake. You just can't do it. It's just not good party hosting. I don't know where you learned your rules of etiquette, but not having cocaine at that hour is a big no. 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 Kind of like, you know how, no, I am not going second. No, I'm not staying awake without cocaine at your show. So, satanic, I'm gonna call you out all over the place. You stole my cigarettes. You fucked up the set time. Just for me, personally. Just for me. You probably fucking went to our hotel and fucking made sure I left that list there. And then you didn't fucking supply cocaine for your guests so that they could stay awake through all of this chaos. For shame. For shame. Alright, so yeah, that's just kind of a funny little story of, you know, kind of what led up to me feeling like I didn't do a good job at Strictly for the Wicked, and, you know, I'm just kind of having fun with that. Yes, these things actually do fuck with my head because of my mental issues, but in all reality, satanic is not to blame for every problem in my life, or even that weekend. No, all of that blame really just lies on Comatose because he's the one that's here every day. So obviously he made me in this way, and that's why he can't leave my site. So, but yeah, so we're cool, satanic. Nice trying to fuck my shit up, but you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger person. I'm just gonna smile and fucking follow you on Twitter. So, that's pretty much that. I had a great time at Strictly for the Wicked, and I hope anybody that made it out had a good time as well. A lot of fun. Sorry, my set was subpar. But otherwise, yes, it was a good weekend. Thank you, everybody that came out. Thank you for some of the people purchased some Kilo Crack Rocks items where they're rocking it for my shit. Thank you to those people. Thank you to Satanic for organizing all of that and having me out. It's a good time. So that's all that I wanted to really get at. And I think for this segment of the Kilo Show, we will leave you with just a little bit of live footage. We'll leave you with just a little bit of live footage from Strictly for the Wicked from the Kilo Crack Rock set, since this is the Kilo show, Peepshow. Leave you with that, and everything else has been said. So, bye.
Kilo Crack Rocks, give it up!
Blackout, how many drinks does it take? I've lost count. Don't stop now, don't pass out. The fun doesn't end until I black out. My party never stops until I black out. How many drinks does it take? I've lost count. Don't stop now, don't pass out. The fun doesn't end until I black out. This bitch cut me off and we had some words. Now I'm waiting out back for her to get off of work. When she steps outside, I hit her with the pipe. Kept swinging till the face couldn't be identified. I went through her purse and I might spend some time, just one night with you. Things that I would do to keep just a little piece of you. Spend some time, just one night with you. Things that I would do to keep just a little piece of you. I keep to myself and say I need help. Talk to the dead, cause I've got no one else. I'm that creepy bitch no one wants to be seen with. Obsessed with death in the cemetery dreaming. I'm so lonely, nobody really knows me. Death is the only way to get close to me. I keep a trophy every time I hear no words, see no light, speak no truth. Yo, fuck you, I'm a she-devil straight from hell. No stopping me now, got you under my spell. I hear no words, see no light, no truth, yo, fuck you. I'm a she-devil straight from hell. No stopping me now, got you under my spell. I'm a real creep show, giving you a peep show. All I do is evil. It's Kilo with no cherries on top. No gravity, I kill up, spill blood and mix it in a drink. Stay high on the drain, and tequila son just on my best friend. So I told her all my stories, drugs, sex, and death. From that day, she never looked at me the same again. Even though I recall picking her up when she called, and she came clear. I wish she was appalled. I had to hear about her visits to a bush. Everything that I committed was a fucking different bitch. Now you wanna play the critic, that makes you a hypocrite. Before you run your mouth, I'm gonna put an end to it. Let myself in her house and that's just full of pieces. If I told you a secret, then you're gonna keep it. Just before I left, cut out her tongue. Even in death, that bitch won't be telling no one. Promise this will all go well. If you promise you won't tell, just shut the fuck up. Keep your fucking mouth shut. No one asks, oh well, if you don't tell, this will all. And that wraps that up. Thank you, everybody.
She said, sign your name on the dotted line. The lights went out, and you can't stop.